Hey guys, I'm Nora and welcome to the Grateful Blessedness podcast. I'm here to share with you the value of mindset coaching on your 12-step journey. I am a 12-stepper and certified mindset coach with a huge heart for those who struggle to stay sober and abstinent and cannot figure out why, and for those who are abstinent but still long to feel happy, joyous, and free. It is that emotional sobriety that is the goal of my coaching and the steady thread that weaves through each episode of this podcast. So I hope the podcast will encourage you in the very real struggle of living the 12-step life and ultimately serve to remind you of the source of your emotional well-being. So God bless you on your journey, and thank you so much for listening. Let's dive in. We are reading from Daily Reflections, page 271, the reading for September 19th, titled Acceptance. We admitted we couldn't lick alcohol with our own remaining resources, and so we accepted the further fact that dependence upon a higher power, if only our AA group, could do this hitherto impossible job. The moment we were able to accept these facts fully, our release from the alcohol compulsion had begun. That's from As Bill Sees It, page 109. Isn't that just uncanny? I'd use different readers. I flipped to random pages, and yesterday was about faith, and we talked about like letting go absolutely, about what reservations or hidden reservations we have. You know, you're only as sick as your secrets. And here they're saying the exact same thing, and I just think it's beautiful. The moment we were able to accept these facts fully, our release from alcohol compulsion had begun. And I had this image yesterday, and it was that, you know, it's come to mind, or it's come to my attention that there's something else I need to let go of, at least for a time. And I was talking to my sponsor about it, and I had this visual because I was still resisting it. Like I'm like so annoyed that there's something else. And I was also so annoyed that I was resisting it. I was like, we've been through this. I know what to do. And yet, you know, it's just like there's something in me going, no, not something else. and I had this idea that, like, why am I clutching onto this? Why am I holding on to it so tight? And then I had this visual come in of like I think I'm holding on to it, but it's holding on to me. And it's like this vine that's tied around my wrists. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't want that. I don't want that, because I think we have this false idea when we're in it that we don't want to let go of it. We have this false idea that somehow we're in control, when really we are in bondage to this thing. And does that not make it so much easier to like relax your shoulders and be like, ooh, yeah, that sounds bad. I don't need that. And like, I don't know, it just made it really easy for me to just like step away for a time and trust the process. Okay, we are going to dive into the reflection here. Freedom came to me only with my acceptance that I could turn my will and my life over to the care of God, my higher power. Serenity seeped into the chaos of my life when I accepted that I was going through what I was going through was life, and that God would help me through my difficulties and much more as well. Since then, He has helped me through all of my difficulties. When I accept situations as they are, not as I wish them to be, then I can begin to grow and have serenity and peace of mind. Someone shared with me this phrase, and I don't want to get it wrong, so I'm just going to glance at my phone here real quick. But she said, she uses this phrase a lot, and it just is totally acceptance. And it's this: this is how it was always going to be. And I'm going to repeat it again. So if you think this in your mind when something frustrating is happening, where you're like, this shouldn't be happening. I shouldn't be struggling with this. They shouldn't be like that. This is my fault. If I hadn't done this thing years ago, I wouldn't be in this mess. I wouldn't be in this place. And if you just think the thought, this is how it was always going to be. Again, it really helps me relax. Like I feel my shoulders drop. And I can let go of this rope that I'm just yanking on, this I can step away from the fight with reality that I will always lose, but for some reason, it's just like my kryptonite. I can't, well, I don't know if that's the right analogy, but it's like I can't not engage with it and I'll never win. Isn't that just, it's so curious to me. It's so interesting. Like I will fight to the death on a fight that intellectually I know I can never win. And in a way, it's like, well, it's totally it's totally delusional and messed up, but we all do it. So we're all just as delusional and crazy. Insanity, we learn about that a lot, but in a way, it's like, okay, that's an insane amount of energy I put into that. And could it be possible for me to just rechannel where that energy is going and make it move towards something beautiful, helpful, useful? That's what the 12 steps do. They're not saying it's like they're saying there is something wrong with us, but they're asking you to say it. You need to be the one to be like, yes, there's something wrong with me. I am powerless over this thing. No one else can say that for you. No one else can believe it for you. No one else can drag you into a 12-step room. You come on your own. And once you're able to say, there's something wrong with me, you get to learn to trust a higher power that can say, okay, actually, there's nothing wrong with you. You just got a little sidetracked. And let me bring you back and redirect. And we just need these loving boundaries, this discipline, this daily discipline to make sure things stay in the proper channel. Because on my own, I do get a little haywire. I get distracted. I get confused. I get lazy. I just kind of start to fall away from things that I know are good for me because they're just not as interesting for some reason. But they become fascinating and very interesting when I stay close to my higher power and bring him into every moment of every day. And I want that for you. I want that for you because a dry drunk is someone who's not engaging in their substance of choice, but they're not happy. They're not happy, joyous, and free. And I think, just because that was me for so long, I think that there's something in that of being distant from a higher power and not being able to see the beauty and have gratitude in the mess that has brought you to the 12 steps. A mess that is so beyond your substance of choice. It's this internal discord and disconnect and unhappiness and confused way of viewing life. One that especially causes us to reject reality. And so let's all pray for acceptance today. Let's all try to embrace this line that this is how it's always going to be. I was always supposed to find the 12 steps because my higher power knows that with it, I'm far happier, whole, complete, motivated, driven, and excited to live life than I ever was before it. With that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so, welcome. If you are here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess. And I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.